high above a railway bridge spanning a foaming river just outside the Arctic Circle. Finnish construction workers hammer away a project that will smooth the connections from NATO's Atlantic coastline in Norway to its new borders with Russia. This short stretch of rail is the only rail link between Sweden and Finland. As the alliance reshapes its strategy in response to Russia's campaign, access to these new territories and their infrastructure opens ways for allies to watch and contain Moscow, and an unprecedented chance to treat the whole of Northwest Europe as one bloc. Nearly 24 diplomats and military and security experts told us.
Basically, only major route for our supply is through the sea, and I think the Russians can quite easily interrupt the cargo transportation by the sea. So basically, this northern route is the only accessible route after that.
Finland relies heavily on maritime freight for all its supplies. Customs data shows almost 96% of its foreign trade is carried across the Baltic. If there was a conflict with Russia in the Baltic Sea area, where Russia has significant military capabilities at St. Petersburg and Kaliningrad, the shipping lane NATO used for that exercise would be vulnerable. The east-west railway link across the high north will open as an alternative which could prove crucial. But that risk too may recede when Sweden joins NATO.
We need electrification from the Kemi to the Haaparanta, and this is the missing part, the last mile of the electrification, what is needed now, and it is now under construction. And also some bridges has to be done more robust, that these new locomotives and also cargo can go across this bridge which goes over the border.
Sweden's contribution will, by 2028, include a new generation of submarines in the Baltic Sea that Commander of Sweden's first submarine flotilla, Fredrik Linden, says will make a big difference in protecting vulnerable seabed infrastructure and preserving access. Currently major security headaches, as the September 2022 destruction of the Nord Stream gas pipelines showed.
Well, the British submarine force as a contributor to NATO once and become member of the alliance would be, of course, a numerical one, but also being a gap fill in terms of our regional experience, bringing the knowledge and how to operate in the Baltics. The Baltic Sea is as I said, it's a multi-domain area. It also can be easily described with what we call the 5 Cs: confined, confused, contested, congested, and cluttered. It's a very busy area. It's also confined in terms of the space, but it's also there's a lot of areas where we can hinder the opponent to move about on their own free will. So I would say that with 5 submarines, you can easily constrain the movements of your opponent.
The Gotland, one of 4 submarines currently in Sweden's fleet, which would bring NATO's total in the Baltic countries to 12 by 2028, will be among NATO's most advanced non-nuclear submarines and can stay out of port for significantly longer than other conventional models, the researcher Brunn said. Both developments show how the expanded alliance will reshape Europe's security map. The region from the Baltic in the south to the high north may become almost an integrated operating area for NATO.
I can tell you as a military professional, the ability to move equipment and soldiers and ammunition and supplies in a rapid, organized way and efficient way is really important. It gives you lots of options into how you employ your forces. So any infrastructure that can enable the rapid movement of forces, whether it be ports, airfields, railways, highways, all this stuff is significant to warfare.
For NATO, it's quite important to have now the whole northern part, to see it as a whole piece. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Moss from NATO's Allied Command Transformation said. He chaired the working group which led Finland's military integration into NATO.
For NATO, it's quite important to have now the whole northern part, to see it as a whole piece and not with the former NATO nations, Norway and Denmark. Now we have a whole bloc, and thinking about for potential defense plans, it's for us a huge step forward to consider it as a whole area now.
This became clear in May when Finland hosted its first Arctic military exercise as a NATO member at one of Europe's largest artillery training grounds, 25 km above the Arctic Circle. The nearby town of Rovaniemi, known to tourists as the home of Santa Claus, is also the base of Finland's Arctic Air Force and would serve as a military hub for the region in case of a conflict. Finland is investing some 150 million euros to renew the base to be able to host half a new fleet of 64 F-35 fighter jets due to arrive from 2026.